Well, here I am with my brain fog day. I don't know if I'm on or not. Doesn't say, yes, you are live, so I'm going to do this. Yeah, it is live. I've been sitting here wearing my cicadas reunion tour. I like this. I was out walking earlier. I digress, but I like this shirt. Um, yeah. So today I decided that I would go. I've got so many things going on. I can't do that today. Yeah, I decided I would do it live because I don't have the energy to go ahead and do a video. And so this is my kitchen. You can tell it's fake or real, but this is how I live. But what I wanted to talk about is that came to me is because I'm in the middle of a crash. I know a lot of people, when you get online and you start being a content creator, the audience kind of, the viewers kind of direct their perception and what kind of persona you're going to have because you go by the views or whatever, whether it's intentionally or not, that does happen. And so I know I come across as being so insightful. I'm a role model for the younger generations. I'm this, that, and the other. But I just want to be a regular person. And I am a regular person. And even though I'm older. And so, yeah. So today I just want to get into what's really going on and the way I'm kind of feeling. And I am having a brain fog day, which is part of chronic fatigue syndrome. But I wanted to do this. Maybe it can help some people that are not specific to the MBTI, but cast out there in other waters. And this time, that if you have both ADHD and chronic fatigue syndrome, and how to manage both of them, which I'm finding to be extremely difficult. The more I learn about it, the more difficult it becomes. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. Now, we'll give you a couple of scientific kind of facts, and then I'll get into what's going on with me, and then I'll end with, so if this is what you're here for, I do this in the beginning, and then in the end, I'll just put some random channel INFP things and what I may be doing with the channel. So, okay, well, with ADHD and how they collide is that there are two different ways of treating it. I hate to use the word treat, but both of them are neurological disorders. They are not mental disorders, and the medical community will try to tell you that's true. That is not. Finding out ADHD and chronic fatigue syndrome are neurological disorders. So it means you have to keep your nervous system regulated, which the average person doesn't have to go through that. The average person is done automatically. It's not done automatically in our brains. So with ADHD, what gets us going, excuse me, excuse me with a cough. One of those days here. I'm in the South. I'm in North Carolina. It's been 97 plus degrees this week. Now it's 60 and rainy. I feel like I'm in the Pacific Northwest. Never know what the temperature is going to be. So anyway, I might have a cough. So with ADHD and the dopamine, what helps is, and that's why we tend to be kind of flighty and we can't focus. We can actually hyper-focus on things we're interested in. If we're not interested in it, we can't really do much about it. We don't want to do it. And with me being an INFP, I don't want to do anything that's practical and sensory-based. I'm trying to get through this. A long list of things. But yeah. So the dopamine rush, it's a high. I used to always call it adrenaline. When my adrenaline's rushing, and yes, we can get things done. Yes, we want to do things. Yes, we start projects. Do we finish them? I finish all my projects. It may be 10 years down the road, but I will get back to it at some point in time. So do we finish them? But we start them, we can go, we're more outgoing. Um, People don't think I'm an introvert with the ADHD because I can talk to anybody. Actually, I can talk to strangers a whole lot easier than I can talk to people I'm close to. I don't know what that's called, but I'm the reverse of a lot of people. But yeah, so that's what gets it going in that way. And I got chronic fatigue syndrome. For those of you who may be watching who don't know, I got that after COVID. July 4th will be my 6-year anniversary. And so I went from being very active and hiking, and that's where I was in the mountains hiking and during the pandemic and the lockdowns. And that's where I was and away from people and having a great time. And came back home to get some more food and more clothes to go back to the mountains. And while I was back, I got sick. So, yeah. So I went from being active and hiking 4 miles a day, even at my age, and training to hike longer and do a day hike on the Appalachian Trail, which I live nearby, a couple hours away from it. And all this I had planned to do. Went from that to a couple of days later being home, being sick, and could not walk across the room. And I'm in a room that's maybe 12 feet wide. So I've come a long, long, long way doing what, and then during all that with the chronic fatigue syndrome, it got to be chronic fatigue syndrome because it's not going away. And my doctor said, well, it's probably long COVID, but the insurance companies don't recognize that. They do recognize chronic fatigue syndrome. And a lot of medical communities, I've been told I just need a psychologist. It's all in my head. But and I've read everything. YouTube has been I've been my own doctor on YouTube, listening to epidemiologists and people. And I've done everything all of you all have done if you've been through this. Been to every specialist except an endocrinologist. Have not been to a neurologist or endocrinologist, but everything else I have. I've been to those online and listened to what they have to say on YouTube, actually. Listened to thousands of videos over the years. And the difficult thing about it all is, the main thing is with chronic fatigue syndrome, it's not just being tired. I don't like using that term. I don't like long COVID. That just sounds like you get over it after a while. It affects all of your organs. It affects all of your systems. It affects everybody individually, differently, and it affects you differently at different times. If I haven't confused you yet, and you don't have it, you will be more confused. If you do have it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are days like I had a meltdown last week, and I'm resting a lot. That's what I'm doing, is resting a lot, which works for me. And resting a lot means sleep. And I take a nap every day, and I do pace. And but there are days when, and most of my symptoms are. I've learned that they don't go away. You just learn to manage it. I look at it like it's a lot like diabetes. You don't. Well, you can, but let's just say you have diabetes, type 1. You have diabetes, and you're going to keep it the rest of your life. And there are people who say that you can be undiabetic. But anyway, let's just say you do. You manage it. So with chronic fatigue syndrome, you manage it. So you have to pace. So that is totally opposite what you do to get better and feel better with ADHD. With ADHD, you feel better with a dopamine kick, with that rush. It's a drug rush. I mean, it's just like a hit. You have a hit and let's go. You do that, you're going to crash if you have chronic fatigue syndrome. So they do collide. So what do you do? That's what I'm trying. What do you do? Anybody have any suggestions that's going through this? What do you do besides just sit in the corner and cry? I'm not a crier, but if I had cried, I would have cried for 2 days last week. So, when those two exist together, and I'm finding out it's probably not that uncommon. But when those two do exist together, then, and they're the opposite, the way it is, the only commonality is that it affects your nervous system. So it's a neurological disorder. So that's the only commonality. Everything else is totally opposite. So, which drains you. And that's probably chronic fatigue. That adds to the energy drain. Everything drains you. That's why you have to pace. I have to say, with the ADHD part, I have to just pick up and go. And before I had chronic fatigue, just pick up and go, and something hits you, let's do it. Don't think twice about it until later, maybe. If it was not a great idea. My favorite saying back then was, it was a good idea at the time. Sounded like a good idea at the time. But with the chronic fatigue, you have to measure daily, if not hourly, sometimes hourly, sometimes minute by minute. You have to weigh it all out. Like if you're on a diet, you have to figure out your calories. You're on a keto diet, you have to figure out your meat versus carb, all that, cut out carb. You have to figure it all out. You have to figure out your energy level. Now, if I'm going to go out somewhere, which is like a lot of INFPs, if I'm going to go out somewhere, socialize, I prepare for it like a couple of days in advance by not doing anything and sleeping as much as possible. I realize when I get through with that, I probably will need to sleep a day or two afterwards. So I do plan that way. But just from day to day, like now I went for a walk through the building because it's kind of rainy. I went for a walk through the building. I live in a senior complex. It's 4 floors. I do the stairs. I did 4 floors twice. I walk them twice, do the stairs for each floor. And so now I'm going to have to not do anything the rest of the day. I'm going to have to take a long nap this afternoon because I've got to watch the hockey game tonight. So, you have to plan out more, which doesn't go along with ADHD. And I do get sidetracked. Like right now, I'm doing this video. I'm getting sidetracked, but I just want to get it off my chest that it does collide, makes for crashes. That's what I'm going to crash. So that's it for that. That's it for the medical end of it, of what I understand, which is about the same and more than a lot of the medical community, because they don't even recognize, well, over here in the States, they don't really recognize universally chronic fatigue syndrome or long COVID, one or the other. They don't. Took my doctor 4 years, and him going to a conference about it to come back and say, oh, you had COVID? And I said, I've been telling you that for 4 years. So anyway, that's what that is. So that's how I have to operate. And today I'm having brain fog, but I find myself being more focused and to the point than most of my videos that ramble all over the map. I think that's more of an ADHD thing. INFP, I do it more than INFPs do a lot of times. In real life, I just go totally off tangent. So my example is what caused the crash was that those that follow know that I've been trying to buy a house, here where I live in central North Carolina. Everybody from all over is moving here, driving the prices up. Everything's gone up. Everything's gone up in the country because of the Iran war. I'm digressing, but it's kind of the gas prices, the food prices. I did not buy a head of lettuce the other day because it was $2.50. I've never known it to be higher than like $1.70. Don't need lettuce. It's not that good caloric intake anyway. I just wanted it on my tomato sandwich. So what happened is I say I have a ghetto budget. There's not much in my budget There's some nice. I've been looking at condos and townhouses. Single family homes are not on the market this year. They were last year, but I didn't get the bid. People were bidding for them, and there were investors bidding for them. And I can't compete with cash. I can't compete with investors and corporations and that kind of thing. So I lost out. But this year, I have walked away from 3 contracts. Excuse me for coughing. Got the windows open and I have allergies, so that's another issue. I walked away from 3 contracts. The first one, I liked the condo and it was really nice. It was in a suburb of the city where I live, and found out it was all during we have in North Carolina, we have due diligence. You can usually have like a couple of weeks of due diligence where you can back out for any reason. You do your inspection during that time, but you don't have to have a reason. And nobody's really understood any of my reasons. And that's what's been difficult for me. And it's been adding up and ended up in the crash. The first one, I found out right at the end of the due diligence that it's a company had bought a farm to and asked for a permit to open up a data center. Now, me being a highly sensitive person, me having chronic fatigue and sensitivity to everything, sound, what you name it, I'm sensitive to it now, and ADHD and all that. I'm just trying to survive. I'm trying to find where I need to be. I do not need to live within earshot of a data center for a lot of reasons. So I backed out of that. Nobody understood. The realtor sounded angry. I mean, she didn't sound angry. I think she was disappointed. I don't know. She just walked out and left. So didn't get that. So I lost my deposit there. The second house, I was condo. I really enjoyed that. That was going to be perfect. It had a creek outside the balcony. It looked like a little chalet. Had a fireplace. It was perfect for me. But on the inspection, it was full of mold. The mold was coming through the ducts, the HVAC system, the heat and cooling system. So every time the air conditioner or the heat came on, it was spewing mold. There was 20 times the amount of mold inside that condo as was in the natural air. Because I know mold is everywhere. So I can't live around mold. So they said, we'll remediate it. Well, unless you take it all out, I know more about mold. I know more about data centers. I know more about mold. I know more about foundation than I ever thought I would want to do. So the third one just came about this week. And I really wanted to go. It's in a quiet town. It's here in this area. I have to stay in this area because of the healthcare. If it wasn't, we have world-class healthcare here, but you can't access it. I mean, it's hard. It's not that you can't access it. You may have to access it a year down the road or two. There's too many people here. We don't have enough providers. So, and I'm Medicare. Medicare doesn't pay, and quite frankly, a lot of the practices are not taking Medicare anymore. But I am here for the health care, and I need to stay here for the health care. And so I am limited. But I did find a place that has 11,000 people. It is growing fast because there's not much land left in some of the other outlying towns. But they had a roof problem. I couldn't get insurance. There was a lot going on with that. I didn't like having to deal with so many people with my nervous system the way it is. I think it accumulated the whole year too. And the ADHD part was kicking in. Here I was packing one day and talking to the lender the next day and riding by the place the next day, which is 5 miles down the road. And I had too much going. There are too many moving parts. I can't do a lot of moving parts. I know a lot of you can relate to that. I can't do a lot of moving parts. So on the one hand, on the buying end, I had a realtor, I had an attorney, I had a lender, I had inspectors, I had an appraiser. See if there's anybody else. I think that's all that's involved. that you have to deal with. Then on this end, I had to go ahead, because there's so many people moving here. I had to go ahead and secure a moving company to move me, which I didn't realize was going to be a couple of $1,000s just to move. So here I am to lower the cost, because they charge so much per hour. I could get it down to $1,000 if all they moved was my furniture for 3 hours. And so that meant everything else I would have to move. So here I am collecting boxes, ordering things on Amazon, moving supplies. So all this going on at one time, plus moving slowly, but organizing, moving slowly, plus doing my everyday thing. That was fine until it wasn't fine. That was the dopamine part, and I did like having projects, but until it wasn't fine. What broke the camel's back, and it sounds like a really stupid, I'll say stupid, I can call myself that. I'm not stupid. I think the situation sounds stupid, because even with just taking everything else out, even with just the INFP part, I lost a train of thought. That's brain fog. This is why I like doing, I don't edit my videos, because I want you to see what somebody like me is like. I want you to see what an INFP might be like. We're all individual. We're all different. But when all these polished videos, I don't care for. I want you to see all the warts, all the good things, good, bad, and the ugly. And what was I talking about? I have no clue. But all this was going on. But so what was kind of accumulating over time, I think, for a burnout from the chronic fatigue. And it's not like a regular burnout. It is a full-blown can't move type of thing. Can't describe it. Yeah, you either know or you don't know. That's what I tell people. I've stopped explaining it because nobody understands it. Either you know or you don't know. Now, say if you have any type of situation like that, or disorder, I don't call it disability, it's a disorder or whatever, don't explain it. People are not going to understand it unless they've been through it. Just figure something out, or don't explain it. I don't respond anymore. I just let them hang. I just look at them, not say anything. It's useless. And I reserve my energy that way. So what happened was, I use flip phones. And it's not, one of my neighbors said, well, can't you just don't want to learn how to use the smartphone? And I'm so tired of hearing that crap. I've been here long enough, I can say crap. I don't think crap's a bad word on YouTube anyway. I'm tired of hearing that kind of crap. I have YouTube channels. I can do electronics. I can do this, that, and the other. It's that my mind is scrambled. My mind doesn't go from point A to point B, and I'm totally scrambled with this move, and nobody understands that. So my flip phone, what happened? It broke in two. Last year this time, my laptop did that. I called it committing suicide. It just sat in my lap, because it's a laptop. I think it needs to be in your lap. And the top part of it, the screen part, just slowly fell on the floor. It broke off. I did hold it together enough to go order another one online. Well, my flip phone did the same thing. And here I am to my provider for 5 hours straight. 5 hours straight on chat on my computer, trying to get into my account. They wanted my PIN. How am I supposed to remember a PIN number from like 15 years ago? I don't even know what PIN stands for. I don't even know why we have PINs, but I don't like them and I don't use them. But evidently I had to have one for this. They would not let me into my account without the PIN. So we go back and forth. I talked to about 4 or 5 people, because after a while it times out. And so you've been logged in long enough. Well, I'm not through with the chat. We haven't gotten anywhere. So that added a lot of stress. And then I got to thinking, came across my mind, your mind just rambles on and on. If you want to use the MBTI, it will be my extroverted intuition. Um, Started going wild, sitting there on the floor with my computer. Nobody's listening. Nobody's understanding. Get into my account. Get me another phone. I need a phone. And then I got to thinking, well, where I'm going to move is more desolate. They don't even have any medical there. They're going to build medical. They have a dentist office on every corner, seems like. Um, so I, I call them. I see you. Been thinking about you too. That'll be a little bit later, but yeah. So what's going on with that is I'm thinking, well, I don't have a phone. There's a dentist on every corner. Seems like where I have seen 4 dentist offices in this really small town, and it was walkable. And I thought that's what I needed to get back to basics. I don't need the high tech. I live in a high tech city. This was not a high tech city. I thought this was going to be perfect. Well, for me, perfect. You know, we're idealists, so that's what I thought. But as it turns out, with no phone, if something happened, I wouldn't have anybody to call. And yes, it's a townhouse community, but I don't know them. I don't know anybody in this town. I don't know that I'm going to know anybody in this town. I do know who's here in the apartment complex. I don't get along with any of them. It's not that I don't get along, because we have nothing in common. And to save my energy, this is the chronic fatigue treatment. I mean, to save my energy, I don't deal with foolishness. If we don't have anything in common, then fine, I'll say hi to you. I'll respect you as a person, but I don't need to hang out with you, and vice versa. So the more I thought about that, the more I thought, gosh, that would be so isolating. I can't even call. Can't even call 911. I mean, I can't. And there's no, like I said, there's no medical. There's a fire department that's not volunteer. It's a fire department. They would come. I don't know how they would get me to the hospital if something happened. So all that came to my mind, and I just thought, I can't do this. So I just broke. Quite frankly, I just broke. Well, according to psychological terms, I had a mental breakdown. Probably should have been in a mental hospital. No, I worked there. That would be the worst thing. I don't need to be trapped. But yeah, it was just a total meltdown. And it was what happens in the chronic fatigue thing, that it doesn't let you know. That's another thing about chronic fatigue syndrome. It doesn't let you know that your battery's getting low. And the ADHD with the dopamine kick takes advantage of that. And like, oh, it doesn't know the battery's getting low. Let's go do some more stuff. So they talk to each other, and ADHD usually wins because it's more fun. So yeah, so I just emailed my realtor and said, I can't do this. I'm backing out. And I know he thought it was dumb. I know people thinking, and my kids haven't to date. I told them this has been a week. I feel a little bit better, but I felt really bad because it was like, this sounds like a stupid. I'm like, told one person that lives there that I can talk to once in a while, and she said, well, can't you learn to use it? I'm like, you're not hearing me. I don't need a solution. I need somebody to just listen. So that was out the window. And my kids haven't responded. I can just hear them say, oh, there goes mom again, quitting something else. She can't stick to anything. I'm not going to stick to something that's going to give me nervous breakdowns. And so I'm laughing because I'm looking over here at something. I am having to unpack what I packed. Started packing, getting ahead of things. Now I got to unpack it. It can sit there for a while. So that did not work out. But sometimes things, and then the neighbor who said, can't you learn to use, you just don't want to learn to use the smartphone. She did say, let's read this, what Ingrid said. Sorry, in Florence saying. Oh, okay. Good to see everybody. Yeah, that's fine. I am glad. I'll need to be in the forest too. I'm going to get there. I was trying to move to the forest. It's not working out. But anyway, I'm going to get to the forest before too long. So, yeah. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I would talk faster, but I'm Southern and I don't know how to do that. But yeah. Oh, another thing that she said was, she did say one kind of comforting thing that had come to my mind was, well, maybe that's an omen. Maybe it's not meant to be. Your phone breaking is something trying to tell you something. And I do believe that, because that does, I mean, I have to be hit in the head. I should have known the first time it didn't work out that to stay put, and definitely the second time, but no, something pops up. But that's the ADHD part. That's actually that's actually the ADHD part. We're always looking for something different, new, and we always just try to just go for it. So I will not be moving. I am having a crash. I will not be. I am watching videos. I'm actually watching. I think it's interesting, and I might do some of these challenges myself, but even though I'll fail. But I'm watching Beard Meets Food. If you've never seen his channel, he does all these challenges. He's a professional eater, and it just takes me away from reality watching him eat, especially if it's especially can use yeah. Well, that's a good thing to do too. Yes, we all put our phones down. Put your phones down. But I did get a phone. I did get a replacement phone after spending 5 hours on the phone. I mean, online, and having the meltdown. And couldn't get a phone. Then 2 days later, I got a crew that knew what they were doing. It only took 2 hours to order the phone to get in my account. So I did get a phone. I have lost all my contacts because I don't have a smartphone. I don't have anything in the cloud. I have a dumb phone, have a dumb TV, I have a dumb phone, I have a dumb everything I can have. And so I do have it. It's set up, but there are no contacts. So I kind of sad about that. I can, there are a lot of people, well, not a lot, well, some people that were in my contacts. I have no way of getting their phone number. There were a couple of friends that used to be friends and used to be close friends. I just kept their phone numbers in there just because I just kept their phone numbers in there. I don't know what kind of a thing that is. I'm going to say that's an INFP thing. And we like memories, and sometimes just looking at it. And there were a couple of texts from these people that I wanted to keep, but it's all gone. Don't have my kid's phone number. I did send them an email. One sent one has not responded. So I can't call her. I don't know her number. And the other one, have three, but one I'm estranged from, and I had her number in my phone still, but I don't know her number. And the other one that she did respond, and she was like, well, here is my number if you need it. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just overanalyzing it. I understand what she means, maybe. But to me, the way I took it, with everything being raw, my nerve endings, everything being raw right now, I was like, if I need it, I mean, I would think, well, yeah, I'd like for you to call one time, or text. That she does text and keep in touch. It wasn't one of those things. It was, well, if you need it, like an emergency contact, I guess. so, so I am having to start over. I'm having a new chapter. I am having to start over. I don't have any total insights. I'm in survival mode. I did order my food. I order food in bulk. I've been doing that since the pandemic because I could not shop, could not go outside, didn't have the energy to shop, and I learned to just buy in bulk. So, in all my staples, and now they're talking about the prices are going to be too high. At the end of the summer, I don't think everything's going to be skyrocketing high, I think. So I was deliberately letting my pantry go down with the staples that I have because I didn't want to have to move them. So I ordered them Amazon. That's why this is not a promo for Amazon, and I don't like any of the corporations out there now. And I don't like any of the billionaires. I'll put it that way. Yeah, I don't like the billionaires. But Amazon does get what I need, and it's cheaper, and they just go, no hassle. So I've been ordering food, and so I'm stocked up for 6 months. I'm stocked up. I won't starve, and I've got all my supplies and everything I need. So I did do that. But basically, I am really just starting over. I'm moving in again, but I'm moving in where I've been 9 years. So I've been here like for 30 minutes. So that's that. And that's how, ADHD and chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS, collide. They don't like each other. ADHD side's fun. The CFS side's they're the depressed ones. I can make it into people. I can make them into people. Yeah, I can do that. And try to get through with that. But the good part about it, and that's the end of that part. I would just say the good part, kind of update, just to update. That was not really the update, but I kind of segued into it. But I thought about a new career for myself, which would be to be first-time home buyers coach, do coaching for first-time home buyers, particularly in this area. And the subtitle and the catch would be what the industry does not tell you. And that's the real estate industry. What they do not tell you. I have researched, and that's another thing. I researched for hours and hours on end to find out. Like I said, I know more about mold, know about foundation problems, more about, I don't call them direct, what are data centers, more about, what's this last one had? Roofing. Here it's hard to get in the States. I'll just tell you a little tip. It's hard to get, it's hard to get insurance for a roof that's over 15 years old. Mine was 20 years old, the one I was going to buy, and I thought that was fine because usually they have 30-year warranties, 25, 30-year warranties. Couldn't get insurance. Without insurance, you can't get a loan. So the sellers didn't want to put a roof. They want to give me the money and give me the problem, hand the problem over to me. That was a headache in itself to just somebody who doesn't have a lot of issues. But yeah, so what they will not tell you, things to look out for before you sign on the dotted line in a contract where you think you know what you're doing. There's a lot, particularly in my price point, which I call my ghetto budget. I say that affectionately, and it offends some people, but it is a ghetto budget. You don't get much lower. We're talking the 200s. You don't get much lower. It's lucky you find anything here. The average home price here, I think now is $500,000, and they're usually townhomes. Yeah, so you're going to have problems. But my kids said, we just do a YouTube channel, and that would be better. So I may do that. It won't be for long. I don't have the energy for it, but I may do that. And I may offer coaching and try to get some of the money back I've spent. But I didn't waste the money because I've learned experience. I do have a wealth of knowledge about mold, about roofs, things that are great for the sensory world, but not great for me. But I'm glad to know that. And so I may do that in time and see how that goes over and see how many people in the industry in the area, and I won't mention names or anything, I'll just say this is what I've experienced and see how many of them get mad at me because they're on there just trying to make money. So anyway, I may do that. What what was I going to say? I do think about everybody. I will say I do have messages because I don't have the energy for notes. I'm glad Carm came on here because I miss seeing him. I missed you, miss seeing you. I do check your channel once in a while to see if you have any new videos. I haven't seen any. I haven't checked it lately, but I didn't see any. I think October Halloween one was, I think, was the last one that shows on my computer. I want to say if they're watching to Bufo, the last video about the music in the L word, I binge watched that last summer when I was in bed. I was in bed all summer last summer with another crash, but I'd always heard about that, and I'm anti having to buy streaming devices. I'm anti technology. Just put me in the woods by myself. I'm fine. I'm just anti-technology, but I'd heard for years about it. But it's on, so I binge watched it, which I think is good to binge watch some series. And they were my friends last summer. But as far I never paid attention to the music. That's what she was talking about. The music changed, and she doesn't have her DVD, so she can't really listen to the original music. I'm going to have to go back and watch it for the music. I never noticed that. What I noticed was, do these people actually work? That's what the first thing came to my mind. Do they actually work? But first couple of seasons, I didn't think they worked. Had too much social life. But yeah, you can find that. This is back to Bufo. You can find I'm sure it's the original, not the new gen thing. You can find that Paramount Plus does stream that. I'm not advocating any streaming devices, but what I usually do if I want something streamed, I go and I'll buy for 1 month, and you don't have to lock in for any month. You can cancel it any time, and you can, and I've done it. Go in, lock it in, and figure out a way to burn it, the whole series. Get another DVD. Something I don't know how to do all that. I'm back in the cassette tape era, where you take a pencil and you roll the thing around. I still have my tapes, but yeah, it is on Paramount Plus, the original. Think so. That's a kind of a message for you. Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel like doing videos for a long time either. I don't have any insights. And so everybody else I have to think about. And I know Ingrid Radish Raven's in the forest. I'm glad you're getting out. Not that you don't get out, you work. But I am glad you're doing other things. And getting out in the forest, going to the spa. I do watch those videos of yours. I don't really know much about the autism part, and so don't watch that. I love the cooking shows, but I just watch it for the cooking part. And so here and there, but I am glad you are getting out. And Dallas, if you're watching, I hope you did get the puppy and having a good time with him or her. And actually, that leads me to another project that I came up with, is that I thought about maybe getting a cat, just forgetting about people and go back to my previous life of I used to have a cat pet sitting service, which was mostly with cats. And people called me the cat whisperer. And yeah, I was even looking after a feral cat colony, and I was the only one who could even touch them. It took years to do that. But I doctored them up, and I fed them, and I loved them and all that for 12 years. But there is a cat in one of the shelters here that I really like, because it's a no-kill shelter, and I've adopted there before. And I at least want to go see the cat. Not quite 2 years old, and they usually go pretty fast. But she's been there well over a month, which is a long time. And the description says that you have to be quiet when you go in, or I say cage. They just have them in cages, which not small ones. They show them in bigger not like little bitty trap cages, but they're big enough to move around in. She's got a little tent she hides in and sleeps in. They have lots of pictures of her. And they say you have to be really quiet when you go in, and she would do the best with somebody who has a lot of patience and who is quiet and needs to be in a quiet home. And I'm thinking, I feel kind of sorry for her situation that she's not adopted, and it's going to be hard to find a quiet home because a lot of people who go in there, they go in with their kids, and the kid, well, we need another cat. We already got 3 dogs and 12 chickens and whatever else we got, but we need another cat. And so they go in there, and that I could just see her being, why she hides. So she hides. I want to go. So I'm thinking, well, maybe we're a lot alike. Maybe the 2 loners need company. That might be a good fit. That's what I'm saying. I'm not looking for another cat to have another cat. This one here just kind of speaks to me. And when I go, if it stops raining, I might go this afternoon, actually. But I do want to go and just sit and just see what happens. That's what I do when I go in there. To see, anyway, I go and I just sit and speak cat language, just sit. And then the people who work there, I wish they'd be quiet. They say, well, you can go pet them. You can. I'm all like, I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my thing. And just see the reaction. And it may not be a fit, and I'll get over it, move on to another project, or it may be a fit. Because, we're both looking for quiet. We're both looking for companionship, and we're both looking for quiet. So that may work. So I may be another mama. So we'll see about that. And we'll say to Psych Casserole, Brendan, I don't know where you are and what you're doing, but I do think about you every time I see a map of the weather, map of the United States, the weather, because I know you're into weather and I am too. But whenever I see that and see the systems move across, the first place I look is St. Louis. I know you don't live in St. Louis, but you live near there. But I do think about you. I do go to St. Louis in the weather. So I think about all of you. And Pete, hope you're still working. Hadn't heard from you in a long time either, but all of you. I know I've missed people. They're the content creators. They're the ones that I know that watch me, content creators, and all the ones that are frequent commenters in the past, overseas, mostly all of you overseas, a lot of Canadians. I'm getting a passport. That's sidekick. I filled out. I have put that off so long that I have to have my picture taken again. I didn't know there was a 6 months limit to the pictures of the passport, but at my age, we don't change that much in our looks. So I have to have another picture made. That was $18 wasted. So I am getting a passport. Why, I don't know, but I like options. So who knows? Who knows? So anyway, I've been on here long enough. I appreciated everybody. I do appreciate everybody. I do think about everybody. I just don't have the energy or anything that I feel like is worth saying to say. Except today I did want to put that out there if anybody is fighting the ADHD, chronic fatigue syndromes. And then I never did say, how do we do this backwards? Yeah, there we go. Hey, I can do it. Cicadas. I never did find the cicadas. But they had a reunion tour, and I had to get a T-shirt. I'd like funky T-shirts. So I'm going to sign off if I can figure out, live streams over here. And like I said, I do appreciate everybody. I am staying where I am put. If I gave this job to my daughter, and she said, yeah, I'm not doing a very good job. And I mean this, I don't mean this literally. Just kind of a thing. If I ever say anything that in a video that I'm looking to buy something else, just remind me what happened the last 3 times. If my ADHD person over here is taking over, doesn't need to take over. We don't need any new things like that. So yeah, so it's been fun. It's been good talking to you. If you see this later, I hope some people will see it later. Then just put your comments below. If you have any ideas about the subject matter, put the ideas below in that. What works, what doesn't work. It's not easy being me. That's what we all say. It's not easy being me. It's not easy being any of us. So until next time, I want everybody stay safe.